What happens if I perform badly in my test?
Well, don't panic. In the end, you don't know how well or badly you performed until you get the results. But even if the performance is not as good as you'd hope, the score itself should be used alongside other information that you provided the employer with.
It depends again on when the test is being used in the selection process. If it's near the front, the organisation is probably using it to screen out large volumes of candidates. If it's being used further down the recruitment process, it may again be that they're being used to get a more holistic view of your capabilities. What this means is you might be able to perform lower on some assessments, but still be considered because that's compensated for by how well you've done in other areas.
Do psychometric tests actually work?
Well, they do, and I know I would say that, but they are certainly one of the most reliable ways of finding out whether somebody is right for the job or not. They're more reliable actually than interviews, than assessment exercises, and many of the other things you may be asked to take part in, but they're not infallible.
When we put them up against other methods that we see in the recruitment process, such as screening CVs, application forms, interviews, we see that psychometric tests are remarkably effective, and they're effective across a broad range of jobs.
Do psychometric tests ever get it wrong?
They can do. Your bathroom scales can get it wrong. Sometimes no measuring device is perfect. There is a margin of error which very much depends on you as an individual. Human beings are difficult things to measure, so your ability score may change depending on the day you sit the test. But it's more likely to change based on the amount of practice and preparation that you've done.
Job prediction is a very difficult science. If you take the average person off the street, try and fit them to a job, say are they going to do well, are they going to do poorly, it's actually a very difficult judgment to make. However, they get it more right, if you like, than many of the other assessments that we use. Psychometric tests are good, they're better than most other methods we have, but they're not perfect.
What's the future of psychometric tests, and do you think they're here to stay?
The bad news is, if you're a candidate, they are going to be around certainly for the foreseeable future until something better comes along. That might be brain scans, DNA testing, who knows. But really there is no way yet of measuring job-related qualities as accurately as a psychometric test.
Well, I'm not sure about forever, but they're certainly here for the foreseeable future. If we look at all of the trends, psychometric test usage is growing, and growing pretty significantly. So yes, psychometric tests are here to stay, and if anything, they're only going to become more popular over the next few years.
What can I do to prepare for my test?
There's a lot you can do to prepare yourself for a test. You can practice, and that means completing lots of test questions which are similar to level and in nature to the test itself. But you can also prepare by looking at your test-taking strategy. In the end, what can differentiate two candidates of equal ability is just how well prepared and practiced one is over the other.
You can do lots of things to prepare, but take it seriously. They are part of a job selection process. Now, if we're taking it seriously, it means we're going to find out about what the assessment is all about. We're going to maybe get some practice, find out about the organisation generally and how the assessment fits into the broader process. But whatever you do, take it seriously and give it your best.
So what tips would you give to test takers?
The biggest piece of advice I would give is to relax. The more relaxed you are, the better your performance will be. That means doing lots of practice and preparation up front, so when you take the test, you know what to expect, you're familiar with the process. In terms of some specific advice, I would say the things that make a big difference are listening to the instructions or reading the instructions if you're on screen very carefully. It's an easy way to lose points if you misunderstand how you should be responding to a test. But also take your time, pace yourself, try and answer accurately within the time limit. If there's time left, always go back and check your answers. And I guess lastly, if you can get feedback on your results, then that's great advice, because that will help you develop your approach for future testing sessions.
If you can do only one thing, take a practice test. Practice will help you show your true capabilities. They will shine through. The other thing it's going to do is to help you become more familiar and therefore less nervous with the assessment. If you practice tests, if you remove any kind of anxiety or nerves or apprehension you have from doing that, then when you sit down and actually complete the assessment, that won't get in the way and you'll allow your true qualities to shine through.